Tom, I mean, it is incredibly cynical, isn't it, the idea you give people citizenship. There's a very big difference between being welcoming of people coming here to make a new life and contribute and improve their own lives, and saying, yes, you can be a citizen of this country. Those aren't the same thing.
They're not, and I think everyone understands that. It's a process one goes through to become a citizen of a country that they've chosen to join. And also people can see through how cynical and manipulative this is. I mean, Labour seems to be interested in messing with the franchise in all kinds of different directions. They want to give it to 16-year-olds, even though they don't want them to be, someone voting before they're able to legally purchase alcohol is an absurd state of affairs. But they're willing to do it, not because they've got any, clear, rational reason as to why those two things shouldn't marry up. It's because of the fact that they think, and they have some reason to think, that those people might vote for them. So I think people can see through all of this.
It's sort of gerrymandering they would accuse the Republicans in America of, isn't it, really?
So blatant.
That thing is so blatant, isn't it? Can I also just come to some breaking news we've just had in the last couple of moments, and this is the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. We had a statement a little bit earlier from David Cameron, the Foreign Secretary, about the death of 7 foreign aid workers in Gaza, ostensibly killed, believed, by an IDF bomb. Certainly David Cameron mentioned 2, more than one, Britain's. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said the government has asked Israel to investigate what happened urgently. He said, our view is long-standing that Israel has both the intention and the ability to comply with international humanitarian law. I've made that very clear to Prime Minister Netanyahu whenever I've spoken to him. There have been too many civilian deaths in Gaza. Of course, we want to see an immediate humanitarian pause so that we can get the hostages out and more aid into the region. But again, it is fascinating. We know that Hamas do use civilians as a human shield. We know that. That's why we've seen IDF forces going into hospitals and schools and nurseries and apartment buildings and the like. But we also do know that the IDF, I mean, this is very well documented. They go to more extensive efforts to avoid civilian deaths than pretty much any other military in the world, including the Brits. In terms of leafleting, dropping, speakers, warning that this is going to be under attack, asking people to evacuate. And it seems like they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. There are going to be innocent people, including aid workers, killed in war. Bombs go astray, missiles go astray, or people are targeted, wrongly. This is going to happen. And yet we hold Israel to an account of a much higher level than we hold any other country.
Absolutely. And it's not to say that, of course, when incidents like this happen, that the people involved, there shouldn't be an investigation, people shouldn't be held to account if there was an element of, as you say, horrendous mistakes taking place or potentially worse. I don't think this is something that was conscious in this particular case. But it is fascinating that, particularly when you're in a situation where they're up against an enemy who go out of their way in the opposite direction to put civilians in harm's way, that people still hold Israel to such a horrendous standard.
I mean, it is awful that these people have died. It's appalling, and and anyone involved responsible should be held to account if it was deliberate or careless. But that's very different, would you say, from the deliberate efforts to put those people in harm's way. Thank you very much, Tom Slater.